Hi, welcome back to FCC Knows. Today we have a new person joining our crew here. This is our new counseling intern. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Kelly.
Yeah, so I'm Kelly Rosser. I go to Truett McConnell University and I'm in the master's program for counseling.
Yay! So she is one of our new counseling interns, so you guys will see her a lot in upcoming videos. This is actually also a goodbye for Claire and I. We will be moving on to post-grad life, so you guys will not see us in our videos anymore, but the new interns coming in are going to be fabulous, and they will provide you guys with a wealth of information and knowledge pertaining to mental health topics.
Yes.
So starting for today, we are going to be discussing maternal mental health. So May 6th is maternal mental health. So basically what that kind of comprises is a centralized focus on women's mental health as they're going through pregnancy, postpartum, and even after a couple of years after raising children. It's a time of transition. And speaking from experience, I can definitely attest to this. You're going through physical changes, hormonal changes, the way that your body is different, and then changing your lifestyle. So some women who have never had children before, they go from living a life of it's just me and my partner, my job reflects this, I don't have to take much into consideration outside of my own needs. Then you add a baby into the mix, and many women out there can probably attest to this. Your whole life changes.
Yeah, you don't come first anymore.
No, you don't come first anymore. And that bundle of joy can bring a lot of sleepless nights. It can bring a lot of concerns. Am I raising my baby the right way? Am I feeding my baby the right way? And there's so many pressures out there and stressors. So 1 in 5 mothers will experience what we call perinatal mood or anxiety disorders. And this is sparked by all the stressors that women experience as they've had children. And some of that is learning to keep a human alive. So women are going through this research process of, okay, what's the best car seat? What's the safest crib? How do I best feed my baby? What's a good formula? There's so many that gets taken into account of what decision is going to be the best for my baby. Sleep deprivation. If you have a baby that sleeps through the night, it's probably like a very rare circumstance because newborns, they don't know how to sleep through the night. So on top of these hormonal changes, women are sleep deprived, so they're exhausted, and trying to deal with all these new challenges can be really hard on women. In addition, the change in hormones. So from the time that you get pregnant, you have a rise in hormones, and then after you give birth, you have a dramatic drop in hormones. So for many women, that's where they feel like they're going through a roller coaster of their emotions, and it's very hard for them to kind of get back to a stable state in their emotions. The post-birth recovery. So some women can give birth vaginally, some give birth through via C-section. I had a C-section, so the recovery process is long and hard.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, because that is a major abdominal surgery.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yes, and for many women, depending on the severity or the reason that they have to have a C-section, sometimes they are on the couch or bedridden for 2 weeks afterwards, and even then they have difficulty standing up straight, they can't carry their baby a certain way, and if you are not properly taking care of yourself, or if you don't have a great doctor that informs you of how to recover, you can have some more long-term effects from that C-section.
Right.
And also if you've got trauma in your birth, if there was tearing, if you had medical conditions like preeclampsia, there's the pressure to host family and friends after you've had a baby. Which I think that is a very sore subject because many women are like, I just want to rest, and now you've got an influx.
Now all of your family members, they want to come over and they want to see the baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a very stressful time. Women are trying to get a sense of who they are now that they're a mother, and their lives have kind of been turned upside down a little bit. And so then you have family and friends coming in, and sometimes they are wanting to help and support you. Sometimes they're offering advice that is unwanted or that you don't agree with. And they don't exactly agree with the way that you're going about things. And new tasks along with the new responsibility of a baby. So for some women, they were not working previously, and so now they're at home trying to take care of the house, take care of the baby as well. Or you've got the working mamas, which that's also very difficult in itself. You're trying to divide up your time between work, spending time with your baby, finding childcare. It's so many new things all wrapped in one. So this is a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration when we think about what moms are going through. And I think a lot of the myths is that when women have babies, it's this blissful time. It's the pregnancy glow, and then you've got this bright, shiny new little baby that you get to carry around, and everything's perfect. And when women go through all these stressors, they're like, wow, that's not what I was expecting, basically. Yes. And there's so many pressures with society that they place on women, and women almost feel burdened or ashamed when they realize that I'm not having this pregnancy or postpartum experience that everyone told me I was going to have. So I shouldn't talk about things. I shouldn't talk about feeling sad or depressed. But these are all, as therapists know, your emotions are valid, your experiences are valid. So kind of diving in more so, Claire, into symptoms. So for the moms out there who are maybe thinking, this resonates with me a lot. What are some things that women should look out for or family members should look out for?
Well, that's actually a really tricky question.
Yes.
Because, like you just talked about, a lot of the symptoms of postpartum depression or any type of postpartum mental illness also kind of mimic the symptoms of having just given birth.
Yeah.
So, so it's important to check in with, with people that are, that are new moms and see how they're feeling, because a lot of the main symptoms of postpartum depression, you've got sadness, mood swings, crying spells, feeling overwhelmed, issues with concentration, changes in the sleeping cycle, altered eating patterns, loss of libido, social withdrawal, and enduring exhaustion.
And I think you touched a really great point that it's hard to really differentiate. Is this
Exactly.
Postpartum depression? Is this a perinatal mood disorder? Because many of us get educated when we've had babies about the baby blues. We're told that it's normal to feel sad, it's normal to feel overwhelmed and cry, but there's a key to this. Most baby blues will subside after 2 weeks, and if they haven't subsided, that's a sign that, okay, this is some postpartum depression, this is some postpartum anxiety that I'm experiencing right now.
Right.
This is where you want to reach out and get
Yes,
help.
exactly, and and that's why it's so important to check in regularly with the people that you know and care about after they've given birth. To kind of just check in and see how they're doing, because like I said, a lot of these symptoms are symptoms of just having given birth, and so sometimes it can go, it can be missed, and so that's why it's so important to look out for the people that you love.
Yeah, and I would even add to that too, that any woman who has given birth to a baby can experience
Yes.
postpartum depression. It's not exclusive to a certain group. It can happen to anyone at any time, and there's no shame in experiencing the way that you're feeling. It's a tough transition. There's so many changes going on in your life, so definitely reaching out and getting help and support is crucial. And
Absolutely.
Kelly has some really great resources that she wanted to share with us today.
Yeah, so it's just really important to understand that you're not alone in this. And we like to isolate ourselves a lot when we're going through things as women too, especially. So we think that we're alone and we might not want to reach out for help, but it is important to know that there's more women going through this than you think. So one thing I would recommend is actually asking your local pediatrician. So they often have resources for mothers, such as counseling recommendations or even local support groups. So that's something that you can find in your own city, in your own area. And for people who are spiritual or religious, a lot of times church is a really good way to reach out to maybe some older women as well who might have gone through that, even new mothers as well. I know a lot of churches too have groups for new mothers, just so you can get together, talk about what you're going through. And then there's also Facebook groups that I found, support groups specific to new mothers, maternal depression, as Katie was touching on, so prenatal and postpartum, and then baby blues as well. So those groups sometimes meet up with other moms in the area, so that can be a great resource as well. And then on a more national level, if you're not as much looking for, or there aren't as many local resources for you, there are virtual support groups. There's one for the Bloom Foundation, that's BLOOM. So they've got a support group that's actually multiple times a month. And their mission kind of advocates for new moms who are suffering from any sort of mood disorder or anything that comes along with having a baby. And that's available on Zoom. Absolutely.
So just to kind of sum it up, if you are a new mom or you have multiple children at home and you're experiencing any of these symptoms or stressors that we've kind of discussed today, please don't be afraid to reach out and get help and support. You're not alone in this, and the way you feel, you don't have to continue feeling that way. So this is our last video all together. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys, you will see us, new counselors.
Kelly,
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 me.
Yes,
Kelly will see you all.
Yes. Tune in next time at FCC Knows for the next mental health topic that the counselors are going to discuss. Thank you.